I learned Korean because I have like a background in Korean, like my father's Korean. So like I think it's important to like learn a language that like I'm like a heritage part of. And like I enjoy it as like a hobby because like as learning a second language it opens up more opportunities for me in the future. So I think that it's important anyway. So like that's a big reason why I choose to learn Korean like voluntarily.
I learned Korean because I also have Korean heritage, and I feel like since I'm living in Australia, I don't get to fully access it if I don't really understand the culture. And I think learning a language is a big part of the culture as well, and understanding also some of the other aspects and traditions of Korean. I feel like even learning about just one other culture, it doesn't have to necessarily be Korean, but just learning about a different culture and learning the language, it can help you, I guess, understand other cultures as well. And I think that's very important today, also like in the world we live in, because there's so many different cultures, especially here in Australia as well. So I think it's important.
Absolutely. Yeah, adding on to that, and living in like a multicultural like country, it like allows you to experience different things, and like learning Korean, like although it may not be the exact same as learning a different culture, it gives you like a slight understanding of how it would feel like to learn another one. There's really like not much of a difference, but it can be a bit difficult, like with the extra pronouns that you add in and like different things.
I think a lot of the words have very similar meanings to English, but also in Korean, words that are from like Western cultures are also pronounced very similar to that way, which can make it easier as well if you're learning Korean and you have background knowledge of other languages, especially other East Asian languages as well, because I also learned Japanese and it has a lot of similarities as well as with English. Right. Some numbers with Japanese and Chinese are very similar. Like in Japanese, one is pronounced ichi, and then in Korean it's pronounced il, and then in Chinese it's pronounced I.
Depending on who you speak to, there's a different like form of like formal likeness in a way. So if you speak to someone your own like same age, and like you can speak to them in like a impolite way, but then like if you speak to someone who's older than you, then you speak to them in like a more formal way. And then there's like the ones who are like the grand elders, so like you have to speak to them in the most like formal way. So there's like different like levels, so like you can always seem like you have manners.
Before, when Korea was just kind of more isolated, I guess, because the world wasn't globalized and it was hard to travel to any other kind of Asian countries, like you could travel to them, but Western countries were kind of unheard of by Koreans. So the language was very focused on the words that they needed for their culture and words that were needed for like their daily lives and similar to that. But now, because the world is so interconnected, a lot of Western words and definitions and meanings have been incorporated into the Korean language to accommodate to that. In Korean culture, it's very important to be respectful to those older than you, even if it's only a few years. And we have different words for older siblings even, but older siblings can just call younger siblings simply by their names. So I think that's one important part of Korean culture, because it's even incorporated into the language and it's changed to suit the needs, I guess.
There's also like body like gestures for like the older people, like they like tend to like they always bow to like older people, because like that's a form of respect. But there's like different ways of bowing. There's like the ultimate one where you have to like go on your knees, but then there's like the simple one that's like you do to everyone, no matter like who they are, like you still like have to be polite.
I think learning a language in the world that we live in is really important, especially because everyone like is so globalized. So I think understanding and knowing a language can open up a lot of opportunities in the future and can also increase your understanding of the world around you.